Uni's brand new Koda 2 Max is the latest giant to hit the pizza oven market. But the question is, how does it compare to the Gozney Arc XL? Is the price and the size difference worth it? I'm David Gafford, and I've tested over 20 different pizza ovens in the past year, as well as countless other outdoor cooking appliances here on this channel. Today I'm going to walk you through the Ooni Koda 2 Max and the Gozney Arc XL, and walk you through the differences that I see between them. I've identified 7 major differences so you can confidently make a decision on which oven is right for you. In just a minute, I'm going to show you multiple pizza cooks in these ovens, as well as how we grill in these ovens, so let's get to it. The first major difference is the stone on these two ovens, so I'm going to bring the camera in here and let you guys get a closer look at both stones as we talk about them. When it comes to the stone, you'll notice that the Ooni has a split stone with a seam running down the middle. Now there's a little hole in the front where you can use a finger to push up and actually get these stones out. But you can notice that this stone is rather thick, but it's about 0.8 inches. Not quite a full inch thick, about 0.8 inches on this one. When you look at this split stone, we get the question of whether this is a pro or a con. Does this seam here actually matter when you're cooking pizza? And I would say it's neither. It doesn't really matter to me. I haven't found that this seam affected any pizza that I did. It didn't affect any grilling that I did. It just allows you to have a larger stone where you're not worried about this larger surface breaking. I actually am fine with this seam running down the middle. I haven't noticed it at all in any of my cooks. Here on the Gozney Arc XL, you can see that the stone is in here pretty tight. Now, it's not really practical to get this out. You can do it. You have to take off this flame tamer over here. Then you have to take the oven and you have to tilt it all the way to the right on the side, and then the stone will kind of fall out. It's not exactly practical. The depth of this stone, though, is 20 millimeters, which is almost the exact same as the Ooni. This is also a single stone without a seam, so we're not talking about two different stones here. One single solid stone on the Gozney Arc XL. I've got a tape measure here. Let's go ahead and look at the dimensions of the stone. If we go to the back of the Ooni oven, I'm seeing right around 20 and a half, I think, inches is about what we're seeing there, from the back of the oven to the front of the stone. Now, if we take a look at the width, if we go at the very front of the oven is very wide. That's about 27 inches wide at the front. Now, when you go back a little bit, let's say about halfway back the oven, that right there is about 25. So about 25 inches across when you're halfway back. And then I bet on the back, you're looking at 24 inches on its own, but it's kind of hard to get back there. On the Gozney Arc XL, if we go from the back to the front, it's right around 20 and a quarter. So that makes these about the same depth from oven to oven. Now it's the width where we'll see a difference. If we go in here, we are looking at 16 and a half inches left to right. And that's where we have a difference in these two ovens. So 16 and a half inches on this one, about 24 to 25 on the Koda Max. The second major difference comes down to the number of cicadas in the yard. The second major difference is how many burners are in these ovens. And so let's go ahead and come down here and show you that the Ooni Koda 2 Max has 2 burners. There's a burner on the left-hand side all the way over here, and there's a burner on the right-hand side all the way over here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and show you what it looks like. And you can see that come on that left side. Go ahead and get it all the way to high. And that is the high flame on the left-hand side of the Ooni Koda 2 Max. And now let's go ahead and light the right-hand side over here. So one of the things that's unique about the Ooni Koda 2 Max is that you have a burner on the left-hand side and you have a burner on the right-hand side. They both climb the top of the oven and they meet in the middle. So if you can see from the camera down here that you have flames rolling up from this side, flames rolling up from this side, and they're gonna meet here in the middle. That's one of the things that's really unique about this, is that you have that dual burner system that's going to cook from both sides at the same time. For the Ooni Koda 2 Max, you can see that the dials are here on the right-hand side. This is for the left burner, this is for the right burner. And all it is just basically if you push in, that's where it lights it. If you push here, that's what lights it. And then you have the ignition over here, all the way to low to high. So just on the right-hand side over here is where the dials are located, and they're very easily accessible from the front. On the Gozney Arc XL, we have the dial over here on the front right, but it's really on the front panel. So just over here, the burner on the Gozney Arc XL is over here on the left-hand side, and I'll show you by lighting it. We're gonna go ahead and just press it on the knob. And that is the burner. You can notice it's that circular burner that Gozney is known for, and it's on that left-hand side. It's going to go ahead and arc over the top of the oven, but there is nothing on the right-hand side providing additional flame. A single point of flame on the Gozney Arc XL that's located on the left-hand side in the middle. I want to show you guys what high looks like and what low looks like. This is the Gozney Arc XL. This is all the way on high, and this is all the way on low. So if you're looking for low control, there is some low control on this one. So low, there's medium, and then there's high. On the Koda 2 Max, we have flame control of high all the way down to low. Now, low looks like it's almost out. Like it's almost like it's going out, but it is still on, but it is very, very low. So when you start talking about flame control on this one, this is almost hard to see. It's so low on the Ooni Koda 2 Max, but there's low, here is medium, and here's high. Hey, well, I'm thinking about it. If you're getting value out of this video, hit that like button. Helps us out as a channel, helps other people find this video as well. It's a win-win. The number 3 difference I want to talk about is capacity. So if you think about this Ooni Koda 2 Max, you have 24 inches across the front. That means you can do multiple things at once. Now, the classic thing I always think about is pizza, but it's hard to have a couple pizzas ready unless you're working with something like, say, a Detroit-style pizza. This is a Detroit-style pizza pan from Ooni. You can take this, stick it on the left-hand side, and you have the left-hand side using a Detroit-style pizza. Now, you could use this right-hand side and go Neapolitan pizza in here, or you could go New York-style pizza in here. You could use this other side for that. But one of the things I really like to do is use the Ooni Grizzler plate. And this Grizzler plate is a little grill plate with little grill marks on the top. And you could slide this in and grill on the right-hand side and put the pizza on the left-hand side. You could easily do Neapolitan on the left, Grizzler plate on the right, but you're gonna be cooking with really high heat in most cases. You can control the heat to be low or high on either side and really have that differentiation even within a single oven, but there's still gonna be some carryover and play between the two sides since you're talking about the same oven, same heated space. Melissa just mentioned that seeing this configuration makes her think pizza and wings. That sounds like a great idea to me. We wanted to test the biggest pizza that we could come up with in the Ooni Koda 2 Max, but our largest pizza peel is only 16 inches. Actually, they're right around 14 to 15 inches, so we don't have anything even close to that. But what we did have was a pizza screen that was 20 inches wide. So we went ahead and went to our local grocery store. We picked up some pre-made dough. We combined a couple bags of that dough to make a fully 20-inch wide pizza. And we took that and spread it out over a pizza screen since we just didn't have a peel large enough to get it inside. Once we launched it into the Koda 2 Max, we let it cook for a couple of minutes on medium or medium-low to be able to get that firmness to the crust on the bottom. Then we stuck one of our 16-inch peels underneath, pulled out the pizza screen, and let the bottom of the crust brown. I was really, really pleased with the browning that we got on the bottom of that crust. After we took it off of the pizza screen and put it right on the stone, I was really happy with how this oven performed, making a full-size 20-inch pizza in the Ooni Koda 2 Max. This is as good a time as any to talk about the rotation of a pizza when you're making it in either of these ovens. When you're working with a single source of flame like you are here on the Gozney Arc XL, you have to turn that pizza 4 times. You put it in, you turn it a quarter turn, you turn it another quarter turn, and then finish off that first side. It's a 4-turn pizza, so you're about every 15, 20 seconds, you're turning that pizza in this oven. With the Ooni Koda 2 Max, this is a 1-turn oven. You just need to turn it 90 degrees 1 time since you have flames coming from both sides. So what you're really doing is you're cooking and finishing off 2 sides of the pizza, 1 90-degree rotation, finish off those sides, pull the pizza out, and that's it. My brain tends to default to the 60 to 90-second Neapolitan pizza style whenever I'm working with an outdoor pizza oven. So it took me a little bit of time to be able to get my brain around how I would use the extra space on the Ooni Koda 2 Max. For today's question of the day, I want you to tell me down in the comments, how would you utilize the extra space that you have in the Ooni Koda 2 Max? You've got 24, 25-ish inches wide. How would you utilize that? What would you cook side by side? Are you cooking 2 pizzas at the same time? If you are, how do you actually get them ready at the same time so you can put 2 pizzas in? Are you cooking Detroit style? Are you doing wings? Are you using a grill? What is it that you're doing with that extra space? I'd love to hear how you would plan on utilizing it down in the comments. The fourth major difference is overall size. We're gonna go ahead and bring the camera in here, use the tape measure, and show you what we're working with. The published width of the Ooni Koda 2 Max is 28.54 inches. Now, when I measure it, and we go from left to right, I'm gonna have Melissa hold that side. When I measure it, I get right around 31 to 31 and a quarter inches in width. If you think about where width matters though, talk about having this in a corner or having this side in a corner, I would say a minimum of 35 inches to 36 inches is what you need to get your arm in here to be able to operate these knobs. So that's the minimum distance that I would recommend if you're gonna have anything on this side, is about 36 inches in total width. If we look at the width from leg to leg, from the outside of the left leg to the outside of the right leg, I have right at 28 inches. If we go ahead and measure the depth, I'll have Melissa go around in the back, and we'll go from the outside of the outer leg to this other leg over here. I have right around 29 to 30 inches is what I'm getting from the back leg to this front leg. And if I go from the back leg to the front of the unit, the back leg to the front of the unit is right around 27 and a quarter inches. From the very back of the unit to the front, I'm getting a little over 28 and a half inches from the very back of the unit to the very, very front lip of the unit. That's what I would say is the minimum distance that you're going to be looking at from a counter or from a cart perspective. The interior height, if you're going to be looking at the measurement for how much height you can get here, I have just over 3.5 inches of vertical height. If you leave this glass plate in, if you take that glass plate out, which you can, there's just a single screw over here on this side, I have 6 inches from the base to the top on the vertical height on this unit. If we're looking at vertical height of the entire appliance, I would say it's about 17.5 inches in height, considering that this is a rounded top. I'd say about 17.5 inches is what I'd go with. The weight of the Ooni Koda Max 2 is 84 pounds. And I would say, having moved it around multiple times, it's every pound of that. It is definitely a heavy oven. And if you're having it on a countertop and you don't want the wind to mess with it, that's a great weight. But if you're gonna be taking it to and from wherever you're planning on cooking, it's pretty heavy. Here we are at the Gozney Arc XL. Let's go ahead and go with the total width from one side to the other. I'm getting right around 21 inches wide. I'd say 20 3/4 is kind of what I'm seeing here. But the thing I would point out is right back here, you can see that this is where the gas adapter is. The gas adapter sticks out quite a ways, so you can't just put this flush up against this side of the oven. You have to have room for this gas hose. And I would say even at the best case scenario, that gas hose is going to need 27 inches at least in width for this to have room to be able to wrap around the oven. For height, I have the opening at 4 inches, but if you get inside, you can see there's a little lip right here, and I'm going to go ahead and lower the camera so you can see it. You can see there's a little lip right here, and if we go from that lip and go straight down, it's a little less than 4. It's probably only about 3.5. So the usable space inside is about 3.5 inches in the Gozney Arc XL. From a depth perspective, I'm gonna go ahead and take the tape around here. And I'm gonna say on the depth, I'm gonna probably look at about 25 and a half inches. We kind of have to eyeball this because it's almost impossible to get the actual measurement because of all the round corners and all the bevels. But I would say that's gonna measure that. And then from a leg perspective, like we measured on the Ooni Koda 2 Max, there are no legs on the Gozney Arc XL. It's just a flat bottom. So the exact width and depth is going to be what you need from a countertop perspective. When it comes to the height of the whole appliance, this right here is the bottom. I'll go ahead and put that there. And I would say that you're looking right at probably, to be safe, 14 inches, maybe 13 3/4 from a height of the overall unit. The weight on the Gozney Arc XL is 58.5 pounds, and it feels relatively light when it's on the stand, which is extra. We'll talk about that here in a second. But moving it around on the patio, it feels rather light. Putting this on a countertop feels a little bit more beefy in that there's so much surface area making contact with the actual countertop. The number 5 difference is simply fuel, and these are both out of the box propane ovens. One of them, though, right over here, can also use natural gas. So if you're thinking about building this into an outdoor kitchen and you are already wired and plumbed for natural gas, the Koda 2 Max can use natural gas, while the Arc XL cannot. In just a second, I'm going to show you all of the new tech that you get with this new generation of ovens. But first, let's talk about one of the obvious differences, and that's the price. The Ooni Koda 2 Max currently retails at $999. You're getting a 24-inch oven, $999. The Gozney Arc XL currently retails for $799. So 16-inch oven, $799. Depending on whether you want to get a cart with these ovens, Ooni has standard carts that you can set their ovens on. It's not a customized cart for each oven, and you can find a Ooni large cart for $299. For the Gozney side, you can get a cart that is customized for the Arc series, and that's going to set you back about $249. For a total package, if you're buying a stand plus the oven, for Gozney, you're looking at about $1,050, and for the Ooni Koda Max 2, you're looking at right around $1,300. So the question you have to ask yourself, is the extra space worth the extra money? If you're thinking about making a purchase, make sure you check out the links in the description below. We spend a lot of time every week making sure that our links go to the cheapest possible price for these ovens. So head down to the description if you're thinking about making a purchase and save yourself some cash this season. Number 7 is the tech that comes with this new generation of ovens. I want the camera to come in here and let me show you what you're seeing on the displays of both of these ovens. This is the Ooni Koda Max display, and if I hit this button here on the bottom, it comes to life. And this right here is telling us the ambient temperature of the unit. This button here on the top, if I press this, you can see it goes to the left side, this goes to the right side. This gives me the ambient between the two sides. So I'm getting the ambient temperature of the oven, and I can control which side I'm reading with this button right here. The button down below increases the brightness of the unit. I can get lower or brighter depending on how long I want this battery to last. The brighter will last for a little bit, then it will actually fade over time to that darker shade to save battery life on there. You can see on the upper left there is a flashing light for Bluetooth connectivity or Wi-Fi connectivity, and so let me show you what the phone looks like. If you take a look at the app here, we have the ambient oven temperature being 81 degrees, but we can also read the left zone, which is zone 1, or the right zone, which is zone 2, on the app at all times. You have to cycle through on the LCD, but on this you can get all 3. Now, right below that, you can see that there's Food Probe 1 and Food Probe 2. Let me show you what those look like. This is what the meat probe looks like here. And I call it a meat probe. It's really a food probe, but you have this nice long probe to be able to use for roasts or steak, and it's just a small mini jack adapter. So we can take that mini jack adapter, put it here into the side. This would be food probe number 2. And you can see probe 2, reading 77, just plugged it in. And here it is, 77 on the app. Here's Food Probe 1. Plugged in, also reading 77. We went ahead and used these probes with a pair of pork chops on the Ooni Grizzler plate inside the oven. We got a nice sear on the outside of those pork chops, but we measured the internal doneness using those probes so we didn't overcook this pork. Now, heating this at a very high temperature, since we are cooking in the 500-600 degree range, we know that the carryover temperature is going to be very high. So I pulled these before the recommended 145 degrees because I knew carryover temperature would be so high. But I loved having a thermometer that went with the oven so I could always keep track of my temperatures when I'm cooking meat and just more than pizza in this oven. You can also set alerts using this device. And if I say I want the ambient oven temperature and I want to know when the ambient temperature hits, say, 600 degrees, all of a sudden there I have that alert. I hit set alert, and it's going to go ahead and monitor this temperature to see when this hits 600 degrees if I'm preheating and I want to know when it's ready to go ahead and start looking at the temperature to cook pizzas. The same thing applies if we're looking at the food probes. I can hit alert and I could say set alert, and I want to go ahead and choose that I want food probe number 1 temperature, and I want to hit that at, let's say, 125 degrees, 126 degrees. Set an alert. That would give me a really good idea of when my steak is getting close to that rare or medium rare that I really enjoy on my proteins. A few more things to note on the app here. If you look, there is a calculator button on the bottom, and this shows you the classic calculator. We use one just like this, but now that I know this is here, I'll probably switch over. But how many dough balls do you want? How big do you want the dough balls? What kind of yeast are you using? What percentage of hydration, salt, and oil do you want? And then what's your proofing time? And then are you cold proofing or are you room temperature proofing? This is a great calculator. But in addition to that, you have not only the calculator, but there's also dough styles. So if you look and you want a Neapolitan dough style, you click on this. This gives you the Neapolitan calculator. Now, if you go back, this is interesting. Coming soon, a New York calculator. I'm excited to try this one, but it is not currently usable, but it's coming soon. So this one's on its way. Can't wait to see a thin, crispy crust New York style. That'll be great. You can also switch to Celsius by pressing the bottom button one time. That's Celsius. One more time, that's Fahrenheit. Easy to go back and forth. For the Gozney Arc XL, we have our display. We just hold in the power button. It's going to show us on, and it starts at Fahrenheit for me because I've already preset it to Fahrenheit. If I press the thermometer button, I can go from Fahrenheit to Celsius. And if I want to press it again, I can go back to Fahrenheit. Easy to go back and forth with this one as well. But this is going to give us the ambient temperature inside the oven. This is going to tell us when we're ready to cook in that 600 to 700 degree range for Neapolitan pizzas. Now that we've laid out the major differences, let's take a look at how each of these cooks a pizza. Now, each year with my wife's family, we throw a Christmas in July where 17 family members come from all over the country to be here at the barbecue lab and watch David and Melissa cook. Okay, maybe it's not just to watch David and Melissa cook, but that's a nice byproduct of the event. We decided we wanted to test the Koda 2 Max against the Arc XL, and with all those mouths to feed, it seemed like a great idea of when to do it. We started with a margarita pizza in each, and here's how it went on the Koda 2 Max. Here's the launch, here's the turn, here's the big reveal, and here's what the crust looked like on the bottom after it was done. The same for the Arc XL. Here's the launch, here's the first turn, the second turn, and the third turn. Here's the reveal, and here's what the crust looked like underneath. We also cooked a pepperoni pizza on each oven, and here's what it looked like on the Koda 2 Max for the pepperoni launch, for the turn, the reveal, and the crust underneath. Same on the Arc XL. Here's the pepperoni pizza launch, here's the first turn, the second turn, the third turn, here's the reveal, and what the crust looked like on the bottom. But I have to say, the crowd loved the pizza off of both ovens. The Koda 2 Max cooked the pizzas faster because you actually got a chance to brown two sides at a time, only needing one turn in the oven to have that pizza be done. And the bottom of the pizza was done in time for that second turn. When the pizza was ready on top, it was ready on bottom. I love that about the Koda 2 Max. As far as taste, these ovens were identical. You're cooking with the same fuel, propane in both cases. There wasn't any discernible difference in taste between the two. If you want to learn more about the Arc XL from Gozney, we have a full review that I'll link up here in the card, so you can go over and check that out. If you want to learn more about the Koda 2 Max, let us know down in the comments below if you want to see us do an individual standalone review, and what other tests do you want to see us run? What do you want us to cook in this oven? What kind of pizza do you want to see in this oven? What questions do you have about it? Let us know down in the comments so we can put together a video that's helpful for you as you try to decide which pizza oven to put in your backyard. I'm David. Behind the camera is Melissa. Thanks so much for watching this video, and we can't wait to see you on the next one.